Nonetheless, what you will hear is O.J. Simpson telling his story about the Palisade Hotel, how these men were recruited, how they all arrived there, and the very small room they were in, and how he saw memorabilia that he'd not seen in 10 years. That some of the stuff hung on the wall, etc. That there was one certificate given to him by Bob Hope, and something else came from J. Edgar Hoover, etc. Nonetheless, this was more than just personal stuff. And the memorabilia racket itself is a racket. And a lot of the stuff you get is sometimes stolen from other sources. It comes from nefarious parties. These parties were nefarious. And one of the fellows there that had literally disappeared and was wanted on a warrant from California and was taken away in the course of the trial back to California and then returned to the Douglas County or Las Vegas jail for stalking someone. So it was, and the other fellow who had been an arsonist and actually had been in jail, that had the recording and later sold the recording, and the integrity of the recording itself was at issue and is at issue in this particular hearing. So if the writ is granted, which is a 50% chance it would be, but that's 50% it would not be. But nonetheless, the issues are put out here, and Ms. Palm has done a very good job in highlighting the deficiencies in this week-long trial. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have more on Friday Jobber, on the trilogy, as one would say, the IRS with the tea parties, and the journalists and the phone numbers, and this little place called Benghazi in the little office annex, which is a CIA thing. And one other note, one of the reasons you have not heard very much about this, you will never hear very, is they were speculating on who the groups were, and of course groups were all over Benghazi. Yes, no doubt about that. But the problem is they've never really told the public who was actually behind, whom was behind these groups. Because what is known in Benghazi, the French intelligence service was there, the UK's intelligence service was there, the Mossad was there, various intelligence service from various countries in the Emirates, and various other types were there, plus private subcontractors. So you've got a list of probably at least 10 different ones there, plus the CIA types, and you had the Army Intelligence, Navy, you had all kinds of people in Benghazi. So thus, pinning it on one person, they've not found anyone yet, and they never will. More than likely, these so-called perpetrators are now dead, which is convenient. So this is the kind of horse that the reactionaries can kick around. But remember, this whole storm is fueled by monopoly media, which is owned by the 1%. That has to keep that on. And I noticed the Politico had a headline, "The town has turned against President Obama." Well, they have turned the town. And this is the so-called media within D.C., the core that's around there. That's about 98.9% white, and non-people of color in a people of color town. So what happens here is what the input. Now you do hear some people from communities of color speaking out against President Obama, but those are the Tavis Smiley. He has absolutely no credibility in the community. And that character Cornel West, his lackey, and various other lackeys. There's a character out of Ohio State of Finance, Professor Boyce somebody, that has on his website recommendations from Dr. Sharpton, and Jesse Jackson. He's attacking Dr. Sharpton all the time. Has some sort of financial plan that attracted 50,000 people. Well, the whole problem here is you have to look at this. Watkins, finance professor, trained in statistics. Finance professors are always what? To the right of center, because they are vested in the capitalist system and trying to turn all these people into Donald Trumps. In fact, Donald Trump has an organization that does that. It's a pyramid marketing scheme that he adds his name to. So there are all kinds of things. So be very, very careful about whom you look at as an authority or a talking head and see where their vested interests lie. This is Boston Red for Mr. Simpson's Day in Court on the 16th day of May 2013, and we'll also have this week in politics, the week that was, that'll be on the weekend here, and we'll have Numbers Man also, and economic news. It's what's a magazine we put on Spreaker, and you'll hear some of these broadcasts over there, and we'll have more broadcasts, and of course the Monday morning quarterback, and we own the RSS stream and on for Boston Red here on iTunes. So you can go there and find us, and we'll have Numbers Man on iTunes, and we're working on for our open source report, which is our technical part. We're working on a story from the Google's Developers Conference, which is going on right now in San Francisco. So we'll be talking about that very soon. Nonetheless, as the Port Laureate of Newark, New Jersey, one L.A. Bill Graham would say, peace out, good day.
Room that you're aware of.
It was quite noisy to me. I was trying to focus on what Mike was saying to me. I'm sorry, what Bruce was saying to me, and usually was yelling that it was Mike the one who did it.
Okay.
And saying, hey man, it was Mike,
And so you're, let me, for the record, you're making a motion, they're pushing the property back towards you?
Yeah.
So, and how do you interpret that, Jester?
Well, they wouldn't fight me. They wouldn't argue about the property. They're
saying take it?
They're saying take it.
Okay.
If Mike stole it, why are you guys trying to fence it? And Bruce at that point is talking real low. We had his head now. And I'm almost in his face saying, man, why Bruce? At some point he said, I accepted that. I couldn't argue with it no more like that.
So you heard the last part of that recording where you are having a conversation about wanting to have Mike's number?
Yeah, what happened was they were saying to me, you need to talk to Mike. And I said, get that bitch on the phone. Way we talk. So,
well, I'm sorry. Is that's the way you talk with your friends?
Yeah, I mean, watch TV, watch the game, watch. That's how guys talk.
Okay.
And he then tried to get. I guess he was trying to get. He didn't know Mike's number, but I think I asked what's his number. Get his number, and he had taken his phone out to get his number. And at that point. Clinton, Walter, and a little bit of CJ, they started pushing me out of the room. The last portion of this tape, a lot of that conversation, I'm standing right outside the front door. They're in the room, virtually standing on the bed because they're taking stuff off the bed.
Why is he standing on the bed?
That's the only way you can talk to me because they won't let us get together.
Okay.
So the only way he could talk to me is talking over Spencer and Walter. It's kind of a funny sight because he's a big guy and he's standing on the bed with on the top. And he's talking to me. Essentially, he wants to ask me, are we cool? And he wants to buy a coat from him, a big overcoat, but I thought he already had gotten it from him.
And so do you actually entertain a discussion with him about what he wants to buy from you?
Well, I told him both. I talked to him. I was mad at him now, but I would talk to him.
Okay.
I'll talk later. Right now, I'm pissed.
All right. And you recall the statement by Mr. Fromong, hey man, they took my Montana lithos?
Yes. He told me that at one point, and I said, what, let those, he said something about, I thought he was saying, nice, but it was my fan, let those, and I asked him, wait a minute, I gotta find out what his is, he said something his is missing, and he said, they're my kind of, I said, well, you have my word, you'll get whatever I got you, you'll get it, we'll leave the let those at that.
And at that point, was he referring to property that had already left the room?
Yes.
Okay, so he's telling you, hey, somebody just took my stuff.
Yeah.
They took my stuff, and you're saying, we'll get it back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I made it clear, I don't want anything that's not mine. And I think everybody who testified in this case told it. I made it clear to everybody, I don't want nothing that's not mine.
All right, and what did you know about that wasn't yours at that point? Okay. And that's what you were promising to get back to Mr. Fromon?
Yes.
And so who were the last people to leave the room?
Well, I'm in the hall. I think Walter is kind of shielding me from the guys. I just remember that Walter, I think Spencer, maybe Stewart, were all kind of in front of me, between me and these guys. Stewart, I believe, picked up a box. I think there was a box sitting outside the room. The two guys in the room was all they wanted to know, could we do this? And I was saying, OJ, are we cool, Juice? And I said, well, we'll see. We'll see. I'll talk to you, but right now I'm pissed. And when I left those guys, all they were saying to me was, we're cool, they didn't do it, and could we do business together? Gilbert was saying that he had been trying to call me.
Is Mr. Gilbert?
Mr. Gilbert was saying that he had been, Mr. Bruce Forlong. Mr. Forlong said he had been trying to call me. He had some deals for me. And I said, well, I thought he was just fronting for Mike. I thought he was just fronting for Mike. That's Mike was always that.
Okay. During the time that you were in the room, let's go back to the room. Can you describe that hotel room?
It was typical Best Western, I don't know. It was, they had one big bed. It was tight.
It was tight, as in a small room?
I was in there for a bit, and a whole guy I didn't see.
Okay.
That was Bruce, and I think Bruce testified that it was a while before I saw him, and I was stunned when I saw him.
Okay. So while you're in there, how many other people are in that room with you?
Well, with me, Cashmore and Early, they were coming in and out, I guess. Walter and Clinton, Lee, Bruce, Beardsley, and Lucio.
Okay, so when you're first in the room, everybody is in that one small room.
Yeah, I literally had to swim over it to get by the guys.
And what guys did you have to?
I could see Beardsley because he was in a chair. And here's the bed, here's Beardsley, there's guys.
Okay, let me do that for the record. So the bed's in front of you.
Bed's in front of me. On the other side of the bed is Beardsley.
Okay.
He's sitting into a chair. And I didn't really know who anybody else was. And then Ricio, I saw Ricio move to the front of the bed. So I'm looking down at the bed in front of me. Ricio's here, Beardsley is here, and the rest of the guys were kind of milling around, I guess.
Okay, at some point during the audio, you yell at Ricio. Remember that?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, when we were going, Ricio had mentioned to me earlier, he was worried about what these guys would do after we left. And he said, you got to do something, you got to yell at me. Even when we were walking, one of the things he kind of mentioned when we were walking back there, don't forget to yell at me. So I had to pretend I was mad at him. Even though he was, all the guys knew he was the guy that had really put this whole thing together.
Okay. So how is it, if you are focused on Fromong and Beardsley and the bed, how is it that you are able to remember to yell at Ricio?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I had seen more about Fromong yet. Somebody had told Bruce. I I mean, somebody had told Ricio to move up the wall,